What's up, dude?
What's up, Corey? And what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Blood Brothers.
Right on, man.
Yeah, so you really got me going when you told me what you wanted to do the other day. You told me you wanted to do chicken parm, and I love your eggplant parm, so I knew that this was going to be really good. And you also inspired me because, well, he's doing something Italian. So I got to do something Italian also, but I can't do something like with red sauce. I figured I got to change it up a little and do something different. So I picked linguine carbonara.
Well, dude, you already know that that's my weakness because anytime I go out to a good Italian restaurant, that's the first thing I pick. Even though I love to make chicken parm and I love to make eggplant parm because they are close relatives, when I go out to eat, carbonara is for one of the first things I pick. Tortellini or linguine, it doesn't matter. And I couldn't be more stoked to have watched your video on how to do that because now, as a fan of you, I'm going to go try to cook that stuff myself watching your video.
And believe me, chicken parm's getting done this week over in his house too. So I love when that happens, That's called feeding off of each other. We've been doing that all our life.
That's right, man. No doubt. No doubt. Well, here we are, episode 5, switching gears.
5. Could you imagine we're already episode 5?
Episode 5. We're rocking a cooking show, man. I'm just so pumped to do it.
Yeah, our first cooking show. So, here we go.
Here we go, man. Are you ready to watch this stuff?
I'm ready to watch it.
Let's do this. Let's show everybody what's up.
All right, man. Roll.
Roll.
Hey, everybody. This is Jeff from Blood Brothers Food Review and Cooking. Today, we're going to do a linguine carbonara. Usually it's spaghetti carbonara, but I like the texture of linguine better, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to try and keep it as traditional as possible. You can't really find guanciale in this area and pretty much in America, as far as I know. Guanciale is basically the jowls of the pig that have been cured. That's what's used in this recipe traditionally. But today I'm going to just use a nice pancetta. I think that's going to work better. I like pancetta better anyway. So we're going to do that. But we're going to stick to the traditional way of doing it. We're not going to put cream in it, peas, or something crazy like parsley or garlic. No, it's a very simple recipe, and we have to try and stick as close to it as possible. So without any further ado, let's get to it. So here are the ingredients that I'm using today. All right, you see right here, we have a nice pancetta. Look at this. This is beautiful how they roll this up like this. This is actually bacon. This is pork belly right here. Okay, they cure this, and you can see they rolled this with pepper. You see, they put actually pepper in it, which is perfect for this recipe because this recipe here has a lot of pepper. All right, we got a couple of eggs. Now, normally carbonara calls for egg yolks. I'm not sure, this was a very old recipe. I think it comes from the Rome area of Italy. But, I can't imagine that the coal miners' wives would throw out the egg white and just use the yolk for something like this. I mean, they didn't have a lot of money back then. I just can't imagine them wasting it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the whole egg. All right, so I'm breaking tradition, I guess, but I'm not going to waste anything. I'm going to use the whole egg, and we're going to take it from there. All right, got some salt and pepper. Like I said, this calls for black pepper. So I'm going to use probably around a teaspoon of it, maybe a little more depending on how it tastes. One thing you should definitely use and not skimp out on is the Pecorino Romano cheese. You have to use Pecorino Romano. It's just got that sharp flavor there that really is unmatched. No other hard cheese is like it. I use about 3/4 of a cup to taste. It all depends. But then we have linguine right here. Traditionally, like I said, it's spaghetti, but I do love the texture of linguine. And don't chintz out on your brand. Don't go for the one that's on sale. Pay the money and get a decent pasta. Believe me, it'll be worth it. All right, let's do this thing. Okay, as you can see, I've already scrambled the eggs. I put about a half a cup of pecorino romano and a bunch of black pepper. And I mix it around really good. I'm going to set that to the side because now I just want to get a little extra virgin olive oil in my hot pan. And I am going to start rendering down my pancetta. All right, we're going to let that render down, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, now that I have my pancetta rendering down, I want to drop in my pasta. I take my pasta, drop it in the water, and I want to let that get to al dente because we're going to end up putting this back in the pan. We're also going to make use of this pasta water too. It's very important to use the pasta water. What we're going to do is, once this is done, I'm going to take it out of the pan. I'm going to reserve some of the liquid in the pan of this grease, this beautiful pancetta grease in here. And when the pasta is done, I am just going to take the pasta directly from the water into the pan. And I'm going to saute it just a little bit in that grease. Then I'm going to turn the heat off. And I'm going to introduce my egg mixture into it. I'm going to be stirring very fast because we don't want that egg to cook. We just want it to heat up. Alright, so I'll show you what I mean. Alright, my pancetta is done. So I'm going to use a slotted spoon and move it to a bowl and just set it aside. And I'm going to pour off some of this grease in here because I don't need it all. Some people just dump it in. They want to just, use all the grease. That's fine. You do what you want. But I don't need all that grease. So set this to the side. Okay, so looks like my pasta is ready. It's perfect al dente. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some of my guanciale back into the pan. All right. But I'm going to reserve about that much to put on top when we're done. Okay. So let's get that going again. Everything's ready to rock. All right, so I'm just going to move this over here. Pasta water and all. I know it's dripping, but we want that. Pasta water is crucial to this dish. Absolutely crucial to this dish. It's the starch in the water that's going to help it thicken up because we're not using any cream or anything like that. So we're going to need that. All right, we're just going to let that go for a few more minutes and then we're going to take it off the heat and we're going to put the egg in. Okay, it's off the heat now. I have my linguine in with the guanciale and a little bit of that grease. That beautiful pancetta grease is going to give it its saltiness. And now I'm ready to add the mixture, and I'm going to do this very quickly. Very quickly. You can see that creaminess from that pasta water. I'm going to add just a little more in there too. A little more to give it that consistency. You can see how beautiful that's getting right there. Look at that creaminess. Look at that beautiful creaminess right there. Now this is carbonara. You don't need cream. You don't need anything else. It's a very simple dish. Very, very simple dish, and an excellent dish at that. All right, so now I got that like that. I'm going to add some more black pepper. Now look at that. Look at this right there. All right, so we're going to plate it next. Okay, so here we have it finished and all plated up. Now I'm just going to finish it with some of the guanciale that I put aside. Not guanciale, sorry. This time it's pancetta. Some of the pancetta that I put aside. Throw a little of those crunchy ones on top. And little pecorino romano right there. And we're going to finish it with some black pepper right on the tip top. And there you have it. Linguini Carbonara. As close to traditional as you're going to get right now.
For my chicken parmesan, I like to start off by using good quality chicken. Moving on to the ingredients, I keep it simple. Salt, pepper, mozzarella, pecorino romano, panko breadcrumbs, regular Italian breadcrumbs mixed with Parm cheese, and good sauce and canola oil for frying. I like to take the breasts after they've been halved and use a good quality heavy gauge meat tenderizer. I spin it on its side to tenderize the meat, and I find that it just breaks up all that muscle and connective tissue. It makes the breasts really tender for the final product. After you have an entire plate, or however much you're making, we move on to the eggs. You'll notice that I do use a lot of eggs, and sometimes I even have to add more. Give them a good scramble, and then they're ready to accept your tenderized chicken breasts. I always like to take the chicken breasts and let them sit in the egg so they absorb it. After that, I'm going to move on to my breadcrumb mixture. And the mixture is mostly heavy on the panko, then the breadcrumbs mixed with the Parm cheese, salt and pepper to taste, and then I add a little pecorino romano just for flavor and bite at the very end. Liberally coat the chicken breasts on the first time through. I don't shy away from the breadcrumbs. There's no secret there. When you look at the size of these things after they've been fried, you're going to notice they're twice the size. And that's because I do something called the double dip. Hashtag double dipped. Once I've dipped all these chicken breasts in the egg and in the breadcrumbs, I come back and do it again. I think it's how you put a big thick crust on there. Next, moving on to the canola oil. I use 2 pans, so there's no assembly line of chicken breasts. I also like to do kind of like a dip test. I'll take a little bit of the egg batter, drop it in the oil, and just to make sure if it's ready. If it's not bubbling up, it's not ready. And then I move on to drop the chicken breast right in the hot oil. Let those babies sizzle. Keep it going. When they're brown on both sides, put them to a plate, put them to the side, and get them ready for the final stage. So for the next step, I like to take the chicken breasts and put them on a cookie sheet. On that cookie sheet, I'll just layer a nice thin layer of spaghetti sauce. Can I make my own? Absolutely. Love to make my own sauce. In this case, I just don't have the time. I'm raising kids. I'm making dinner all the time for the family. And, I definitely need to shave on time, so I'll use jarred sauce. I don't have a problem with that. I try not to overlap them too much. On a good size cookie sheet, I like to get about 10. A little sauce layered on top, spread out, and then it's time for the mozzarella cheese. And as you can see, I have my little helper with me, aka the boss, who insists she wants to help cook. I love that. I don't shy away from my kids cooking. They want to get in on the mix. Absolutely, have at it. I like to sprinkle a little parsley flakes, Italian parsley on top, just for
just for looks, really. I don't think it messes with the flavor at all. Maybe somebody could taste it, but I can't really taste it. I just think it adds to the appearance. I think it looks awesome. Final step, we're getting ready to put these things in the oven. And because there's 10 of them, we're going to do 400 degrees for 45 minutes. And after that, you're going to pull these babies out, and they are going to be slamming crispy, topped with mozzarella, sauce of your choice. And I can tell you what, these things are to die for. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Get to making yourself some chicken parm. Peace.
Wow, man, that was freaking amazing. Dude, we couldn't have picked two more amazing things to make.
Some of the greatest comfort food, man, really.
No doubt. Really. And what is that, like, what? Juan Charlie? What's Juan Charlie?
Oh, Juan Charlie. It's
Juan
the pig
Charlie?
cheek, really. It's the jowls of the pig.
All right.
And they cure it. Kind of like a prosciutto, but it's the actual pig jowls there. And it's, that's really traditionally what's supposed to go with carbonara.
Well, I'll tell you what, man.
But around here, we can never get that.
Well, you know what? Hey, you never know. We could be traveling someday, so maybe we will get it.
I want to get my hands on some. Believe me, the second I get my hands on some, it's going to be carbonara night.
Well, I hope everybody had a good time watching these videos. I know I had a lot of fun watching Jeff's. I had a lot of fun making mine. And, I love to cook. I've been doing it for years. And when I cook, I like to make for a lot of people. And I know you like to make for a lot of people too. So if everybody out there can learn a few things, some tips or tricks off these videos, even if they just inspires you to get in the kitchen and cook, rock on, man. Blood Brothers love to cook. We love to eat.
Absolutely. Our job is done. If we can inspire a few people out there, our job is done. It's what we love to do, and we just can't wait till the next one.
Right on, man. Blow it up.
Absolutely, brother.
Boom.
Rock on.